What's up, big dogs? Welcome back to Defeat the Monster Within. I'm a guy named Fuzz. Today we are going to talk about self-talk. I'm going to start this one with a little story of something that was kind of a big flipping point in my life, and it happened fairly recently. About 6 months ago or so, 5 months ago, around the time I broke up with my girlfriend, I was getting really frustrated at work because I'd go to work and all the shit that was supposed to be done wasn't getting done, and I felt like I was the only one doing it, and every time I'd find shit that wasn't done, I'd get pissed off about it. I'd be like, so I eventually ended up calling up one of my coworkers to talk to him about it and be like, what the fuck's going on, bro? Like, why aren't you getting your shit done? At a certain point, I made like a mental switch of where the self-talk that I was having encountering these situations changed in a drastic way, and that made the whole thing become so much easier. Because I went from having things that pissed me off and annoyed me to every time I'd find those things, I would kind of laugh at them. Because when my perspective changed from fuck you, you didn't do your job, what are you doing, like toward my coworkers, to directing that energy at the monster, kind of, and saying, oh, this is a trick, an attack from the monster trying to throw me off course. And when I thought of it like that, then the shit became hilarious. It's like, well, that's not going to work. That's not going to throw me off my path. That's not going to knock my mood down, right? Because mood is huge when it comes to your self-talk. A lot of people only have strong self-talk when they're in a good mood. So we want to make sure that we maintain our self-talk and strong self-talk, positive self-talk, while we're even in a bad mood and when bad shit is happening. We need to understand some key things here. Is that everything that we do, all our actions that we take, and our behavior boils back down to our self-talk. And it kind of goes hand in hand with the belief thing that I've talked about in previous videos. We have these beliefs that are based on our values and our evidence we have in our life. And the self-talk is kind of the same way. Like, it hinges very much on your beliefs and the evidence that you have. So you can't just go around telling yourself you're the shit if you're not the shit. Like, if you don't do anything that makes you awesome, it's hard to just tell yourself you're awesome and then believe it. So you have to make sure that your actions are lining up, but we'll get into that in a minute. You want to reach a point. The goal is to reach a point where you have like almost a delusional belief in yourself, like a delusional amount of self-confidence where people think you're crazy. People that know you now will think you're weird. They'll think you're being weird. They'll be like waiting for you to come back down to earth. But people that you've never met will be like, you'll be magnetic to them. So you'll reach a point where it's like things kind of click and everything just kind of gets easier. But you also have to keep in mind that no matter what is going on, no matter how strong your self-talk is, there's always going to be that little shadow of doubt, the whisper of the monster, because the monster's always trying to whisper in your ear, always trying to seed in those little ideas that are going to throw you off course. Now, when we're talking about having strong self-talk, we need to definitely pay attention to our thought loops. Now, thought loop is just a short piece of thought that you repeat over and over in your head. A common one you see on social media and shit is FML, fuck my life, right? So, oh, fuck my life. Oh, something bad happens, fuck my life. You spill your drink, oh, fuck my life. You know, whatever happens, oh, fuck my life. And people are saying this shit to themselves over and over and over again. It's extremely unhealthy to do, to have these kind of negative thought loops that are just repeating over and over. There's a lot of them, fuck my life, I hate my job, this sucks. Maybe you can get creative, maybe something comes to mind when I'm saying this. The trick is to identify these thought loops and start to change them to positive thought loops, like, I got this, I can do this, I'm the man, I'm the shit, I'm top tier, we're on the upper echelon, my team wins, right? These type of things. These are the type of positive thought loops that we want to start to inject into your thought processes, so that you have more of a positive outlook. Well, not even a positive outlook, just a positive thought process that's going on in your mind all the time, no matter what is going on around you, because this is one of the few things that you have full control over. It's important to keep in mind that thought loops can be changed. We can change our thought loops from negative thought loops to positive thought loops, but it's going to take effort and it's going to take practice. It's going to be very similar to stopping smoking or stopping drinking. These type of things that you have to make a conscious effort on a regular basis until things really start to take hold. I'll give you an example of what to do. There's a little exercise on how you can change a thought loop. So I think the example I use in the book is I hate my life, right? So instead of saying I hate my life, I hate my life, I hate my life, we recognize this negative thought loop, okay? You write it down. Once you write it down, then you kind of reflect on it and think about whether or not it's true. And obviously, it's not really true, you know? I don't hate my life, I just hate the circumstances of my life. And if I don't want to feel like I hate my life, I need to do things better, and I know I can do better, right? So you write all that down. You write out your big explanation of why it's not true. And then you take a piece of that thing you've written of why that isn't true and use that as the positive thought loop. You know I can do better, and I got this, right? So I can do better. Now that becomes the positive thought loop. And every time you notice yourself saying, oh, I hate my life, I hate my life, you recognize that and say, no, I don't hate my life, I can do this, I got this, I got this, I got this. So now, over time, over the next days or weeks or however long it may take, you replace that negative thought loop. So now instead of saying, I hate my life, now you're saying, I got this, I got this, I got this. And now things will inevitably start to change because the root of your behavior, boiling down back to your self-talk, has changed from a negative to a positive, so it will inevitably affect your behavior across the board, right? I hope that makes sense. So now we're going to kind of shift gears and talk a little bit differently about how we can strengthen the self-talk, okay? Because just flipping these thought loops is not necessarily the most effective thing to do, because what we really want to do is change the fundamental mindset. Doing hard shit will strengthen your self-talk, and doing all the things you need to get done. Say you make a to-do list for the day and you nail everything on that to-do list, that's going to strengthen your self-talk, because now you have more evidence and more belief in yourself that you are that person, that you can do those things, and that will change the core belief, and that will change the self-talk. So now instead of coming at it, oh, I can't do it, it'll be, oh, I know I can do this. Now, a good perk of having strong self-talk is to have higher testosterone. Now, I know I'm going to get some shit for this because I don't have any hard science or real studies of that having strong self-talk really increases testosterone, but there are real studies about how competing and winning are things that will boost a man's testosterone. Like a guy's testosterone boosts when he gets paid. So it's not like it's so much about, the foods you're eating, which is important, but it's a lot about mental shit. So when, I would go so far as to say when you hunt an animal and you make a kill, you have a boost in testosterone. I'm not sure if there's real hard science on that, but according to the other studies, the way this shit seems to work, it makes a lot of sense that when you do these things, you will have a boost in testosterone. So it makes sense to say that if you have strong self-talk and you're doing hard things, that alone is going to have a boost in your testosterone, okay? A good indicator to know if you have optimal levels of testosterone without going to the doctor and getting blood work done is if you're waking up with a boner every day. So if you have optimum levels of testosterone, you'll wake up with morning wood every day. So if you're waking up and you don't have a hard-on, there's a chance you got some low testosterone. So I would recommend going the natural route. There's a book called The Man Diet. It talks all about how to increase your testosterone naturally through natural diet and natural just lifestyle. So it's not so much about the diet as it is just about the change in the lifestyle and the just being a fucking man. That's beside the point, okay? But I'm going to tell you, as a man, having higher testosterone is going to make everything easier for you. You're going to be more attractive, you're going to be more vigilant, you're going to feel better, you're going to feel more energized and ready to just dominate your life and dominate the fucking world, because that's how men are supposed to feel. Okay, so let me scoot here and we'll kind of shift onto this last section. These are kind of the important points I want to leave you with so that you can work on this yourself and start to really develop that strong self-talk that you need. We need to understand that self-talk and self-image go hand in hand, okay? Like, it's practically impossible to have strong self-talk if you have a shitty self-image. And if you have a shitty self-talk, there's no way you're going to have a strong self-image. So they go hand in hand. You need to work on them both together. You need to have a clear idea of who it is you wish to be. Who do you desire to become? Who do you believe that God intended you to be? Get a clear vision of this person and, what they do, how they act, everything about them. That is the you that you want to become. And we can recognize that self-talk and self-image, as you strengthen one, you strengthen the other. As your self-talk gets stronger, your self-image gets stronger. As your self-image gets stronger, your self-talk gets stronger. They go hand in hand. They work together, and they're always kind of one unit working together. But here's the important thing I want to leave you with, is your self-talk has to match your actions. So if you're telling yourself that you're awesome and you're badass and you do this stuff, and then you're not doing anything that proves to yourself that you're awesome and badass, then you're not, there's going to be this dissonance, there's a disconnect of what you're saying in your head and what you're actually doing, and it's going to fuck you up mentally. It creates this disconnection, and everything kind of just starts to fall apart and not work together. So we have to make sure that you're lining up your actions with your self-talk. So when you're talking that you can do this, you need to be actually checking all those things off your to-do list. So you've proven to yourself, yes, I can do this. And then as you do that, you'll amass more evidence to prove that the self-talk is true. And then the self-talk will get stronger because you have more evidence. And then as you have more evidence, it'll get stronger and stronger and more evidence, and it goes hand in hand again. But here's the thing that'll sink your ship that messes up most people. This is why most people get stuck in the middle section of the yin-yang, like I talked about in my last video, okay? Is because they let their mood dictate their behavior and their thoughts. So that's something, it's going to take practice, it's going to take effort to get over that, to work through that. You can't allow your mood to change what your behavior is going to be, right? If you come up with a plan and then you wake up the next day and you feel like shit, you can't just not follow the plan because you don't feel like it. That is really the make or break of what separates the best from the rest. Of some people will make the plan, they wake up and feel like shit, and they nail the plan anyway, all the way down, and check off all the fucking boxes. They get everything done. Other people wake up, oh, I don't really feel like it. They get half the plan done, if that. Oh, fuck it, put it off, procrastinate, and now nothing ever really gets finished. That's the norm for most people, which is unfortunate. So it's something that's very important, is to make sure that no matter what your mood is, you're still following the plan that you've created and taking the steps you need to take, okay? Kind of goes back to the story I talked about in the beginning of getting mad about shit at work and then making that switch, because it really boiled down to a decision of every day waking up and saying, I'm going to decide to be in a good mood today, no matter what. And I don't care what kind of shit I find at work. I'm not going to let it piss me off. And since I've made that decision, the only thing that's going to try to stop me from doing that is the monster. So anytime something tries to break my mood, it's an attack from the monster. Which maybe this is just a giant fucking delusion. Maybe it's just a game. I don't think it really matters, because it works. It makes a difference. And if you live it like you're playing a game and you're going tit for tat against the monster, then it makes it easy. It makes it laughable. Now when the things happen that are supposed to throw you off and break you down, you can laugh at them and say, oh, well, now I can see it for what it is. That's an attack from the monster, and I'm not going to let it break me. I'm not going to let it get to me. I'm going to keep moving forward the way I want to do it, the way I already planned to do it. And that will inevitably lead to a stronger self-talk, because everything boils back down to it. Everything you do, every action you take ultimately comes from what you're saying to yourself inside your head. I hope this helps. If you like this video, hit the like button, subscribe, leave a comment, send me some hate mail. Love you guys. I'll talk to you soon. Keep kicking ass.